Let me tell you something. Your life doesn't change because of luck or fate or because someone finally hands you the opportunity you've been waiting for. Your life changes the moment you decide to change your mindset, because everything starts here. The way you think, the meaning you attach to your experiences, the beliefs you choose to accept as truth, that's the invisible force steering your life every single day. Think about it. Two people can face the exact same challenge. One sees it as the end of the road, the other sees it as the beginning of a breakthrough. The difference isn't the problem. The difference is perspective. The meaning you attach to events determines whether they crush you or create you. But here's the trap most people fall into. They live stuck in limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. People like me don't succeed. These beliefs are not facts. They're stories you've repeated so many times, they've become your identity. And the moment you accept a disempowering identity, you lock yourself in a prison with invisible walls. The truth is, the same mind that creates your limitations can also create your liberation. You have the power to replace those old patterns with new beliefs, beliefs that empower you instead of chain you. Imagine what happens when your inner voice shifts from, I can't, I will find a way, from this is too much to this is preparing me. That shift isn't small, it's life-altering. And let's talk about emotions, because your emotions are the fuel behind every action. When you live in fear, frustration, or doubt, you paralyze yourself. But when you choose gratitude, courage, determination, you take action, you create momentum. Remember this: motion changes emotion, and emotion drives motion. If you want to change your life, learn to master your emotional state. Now, where's your focus? Because your focus determines your future. If you focus on problems, you'll find more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you'll discover opportunities. Where attention goes, energy flows. Train your mind to search for solutions, to look for the good, to find the lessons. That shift in focus transforms your entire reality. And it's not about one big change, it's about daily rituals. The little things you do every single day that shape your mindset and, in turn, your destiny. Maybe it's starting your morning with gratitude. Maybe it's moving your body to change your state. Maybe it's speaking affirmations that align with the person you want to become. Small, consistent actions are how you rewire your mind for success. So hear me now. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mindset. Decide today to no longer be a prisoner of your past beliefs. Decide today to see challenges as stepping stones. Decide today to focus on possibility, not limitation. Your mind is the architect of your destiny, and the moment you take control of it, you take control of your life. Let me tell you something. Your life doesn't change because of luck or fate or because someone finally gives you the opportunity you've been waiting for. Your life changes the moment you decide to change your mindset. Because everything starts here, the way you think, the meaning you attach to your experiences, the beliefs you choose to accept as truth, that's the invisible force steering your life every single day. If you want transformation, it doesn't begin in your bank account. It doesn't begin in your relationships. It doesn't begin in the world outside of you. It begins in your mind. Think about it. Two people can face the exact same challenge, the same setback, the same storm. One sees it as the end of the road. The other sees it as the beginning of a breakthrough. One says, why is this happening to me? And the other says, this is happening for me. The difference isn't the problem. The difference is perspective. The meaning you attach to events determines whether they crush you or create you. You don't control every circumstance, but you control how you interpret it. And how you interpret it controls the decisions you make, and those decisions shape your destiny. But here's the trap most people fall into. They live stuck in limiting beliefs. They convince themselves that life is hard, that they're not enough, that someone else is luckier, smarter, more talented, more deserving. As they repeat these stories so many times that the stories become their identity. And once you accept an identity of limitation, you lock yourself into a prison without bars. You don't even try to break free because you believe this is just who you are. But hear me, that identity is not the truth. It's a habit of thought, it's a pattern. And the same mind that creates the story that limits you can create a story that sets you free. Your beliefs act like a lens. Put on a dark lens and everything looks heavy, hopeless, and hard. Put on a lens of possibility and suddenly obstacles become opportunities, failures become feedback, and setbacks become setups for comebacks. The real question is, which lens are you choosing to look through every single day? Because what you believe, you will live. Now let's talk about emotions, because your emotions are the fuel behind every action you take or fail to take. When you live in fear, frustration, or doubt, you stop yourself before you even begin. You hesitate, you procrastinate, you sabotage. But when you step into gratitude, courage, determination, excitement, you move, you act, you create momentum. Emotion is the driving force of your behavior. Change your state, change your life. When you feel stuck, the fastest way out is to change how you're using your body, your breath, your focus. Motion creates emotion, and emotion creates motion. You can shift in an instant if you decide to. And where is your focus right now? Because your focus determines your future. Whatever you dwell on, you magnify. Focus on your problems and you'll find more problems. Focus on your possibilities and you'll find more opportunities. Focus on what you don't have and you'll live in lack. Focus on what you do have and you'll step into abundance. Where attention goes, energy flows and life grows. Train your mind to look for solutions, to notice progress, to celebrate even the smallest wins. That shift in focus is the difference between a life of struggle and a life of growth. But let me make this clear. It's not just about one big breakthrough moment. It's about what you do consistently. It's about your rituals, the little choices you make every single day, the patterns you reinforce in your mind and body. Maybe it's starting your morning with gratitude, reminding yourself of everything you already have instead of everything you think is missing. Maybe it's moving your body with energy, because when you shift your physiology, you shift your psychology. Maybe it's repeating affirmations that align with the person you want to become until your nervous system accepts it as reality. Success isn't built on a single choice. It's built on the small disciplines that compound over time and shape the way you see yourself in the world. You already have the power within you to change your story, to shift your state, to direct your focus, to design the rituals that will sculpt your destiny. As your mind is not a cage, it's a tool. It's the most powerful force you've got. And the moment you stop letting old beliefs control it and start directing it with intention, everything in your life begins to change. Your life will never transform just because of chance, luck, or circumstance. It changes the moment you decide to shift what's happening in your mind. The quality of your life is not determined by the outside world, but by the meaning you attach to everything that happens to you. You could have the best opportunities placed right in front of you, and if your mindset is locked in fear, doubt, or negativity, you'll find a reason to sabotage it. On the other hand, someone with fewer resources but an empowering mindset will find a way to grow, to push through, to rise higher than anyone expected. The difference isn't intelligence, talent, or background, it's mindset. Look back at your life. Think about moments when you faced a challenge that seemed impossible. At first, maybe you felt like a victim, like life was unfair, like you didn't deserve to deal with that problem. But at some point, you made a shift. You decided to see that struggle as a lesson, as a test, as a chance to grow stronger. And the moment you changed the meaning, everything changed. Because perspective creates power. The same event that crushes one person can transform another. The only difference is how they choose to interpret it. But most people get stuck in patterns of limitation. They tell themselves stories that sound like truth, but are nothing more than recycled beliefs. They say things like, or I'm not gonna make it, or people like me don't succeed. These are lies that have been repeated so often they become an identity. And once you identify with limitation, you don't even try to break free. You don't test your strength. You don't take risks. You accept the prison walls even though the door was never locked. That's the danger of living with the wrong mindset. You think you're trapped, but you're really free if you just decide to see it. The truth is, your beliefs act like filters. Imagine putting on glasses with a cracked, dirty lens. Everything you look at will seem broken, unclear, hopeless. But when you shift the lens, when you put on a filter of possibility, the same world looks completely different. Suddenly, challenges become opportunities, failures become stepping stones, criticism becomes feedback, pain becomes fuel. The world didn't change, you changed the way you looked at it. And the way you look at life determines the way you live it. Your mindset also controls your emotions, and your emotions drive your actions. Think about it when you're stuck in frustration or fear. You shut down, you hesitate, you procrastinate, you convince yourself that action isn't worth it. But when you step into gratitude, determination, or courage, you feel unstoppable. You move, you create momentum, and that momentum leads to results that reinforce your belief in yourself. It's a cycle, and you're the one who chooses which cycle to live in. When you feel stuck, the fastest way to break free is to change your state, move your body, change your breathing, shift your focus. Because motion creates emotion, and emotion drives everything. Now, think about where your focus has been. Whatever you focus on, you feed. Focus on problems, and you'll find more problems. Focus on opportunities, and you'll discover possibilities you didn't see before. Focus on what's missing, and you'll feel empty. Focus on what's already in your life, and you'll feel abundant. Focus is like a magnifying glass. It takes whatever you point it at and makes it bigger. And since your energy flows where your focus goes, the question is, what are you magnifying? Problems or possibilities? Scarcity or abundance? Excuses or opportunities? It's not just about having one moment of insight and expecting your whole life to shift forever. Real transformation comes from what you do daily. Your rituals shape your mindset, and your mindset shapes your destiny. That means you've got to train your mind the same way you train your body. You don't go to the gym once and expect to stay fit forever. You build strength through repetition. The same goes for your mind. You create strength by practicing gratitude every day, by moving your body to create energy, by choosing words and affirmations that align with the life you want to create. These practices rewire your nervous system until they become who you are. The power has always been in you. The stories you tell yourself, the emotions you allow yourself to feel, the focus you choose to hold on to, as the rituals you commit to every single day. These are the tools that create the life you're living right now and the life you're capable of building in the future. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that the battles they are fighting are not just happening in the outside world. They're happening in their own mind. The greatest victories and the deepest defeats don't start with what others say or do, but with what you choose to believe about yourself, about your possibilities, about the meaning of what you're going through. Your life does not change when circumstances change. Your life changes the moment your mindset changes. Think about a time when you felt completely stuck, like you were standing in front of a wall too high to climb. In that moment, what mattered more than the wall itself was the story you told yourself about the wall. Some people see a wall and think, this is the end, I'll never get past this. Others see the exact same wall and say, this is the challenge I needed. This is the chance to grow stronger. The wall didn't change, but the mindset did. And that shift creates two completely different lives. Your perspective is the most powerful weapon you have. Every event that happens to you is neutral until you give it meaning. The same event that breaks one person can build another. Losing a job could be the reason one person spends years in bitterness, and the same reason another person builds the business of their dreams. Being rejected could be the excuse someone uses to hide from the world. And at the same time, the motivation, some of the truth is, most people spend their lives repeating limiting beliefs that were never even theirs to begin with. They inherited them from family, from society, from past failures, as from voices that told them they weren't enough. Over time, those beliefs harden into an identity. And once you identify yourself as someone who is unworthy, someone who always fails, someone who never gets the break, you start living as if it's true. You stop taking risks, you stop trying new things, you stop stepping into your potential because you already believe the outcome is written. But the truth is, nothing is written until you decide it is. Beliefs are not facts, they are patterns, and patterns can be changed. Your emotions are the fuel that moves you forward or keeps you stuck. If you stay in a state of fear, anxiety, or hopelessness, your body follows. You hesitate, you hold back, you play small, but when you shift your emotions to courage, gratitude, or determination, suddenly your body wants to move. You take action you were afraid to take before. You speak words you once held back. You take steps you thought were impossible. This is why your state is everything. Change the way you use your body as your breath, your focus, and you change the way you feel. Change the way you feel, and you change the way you live. Focus is another key. Where your focus goes, your life flows. If you wake up and focus on everything missing from your life, you'll spend your day feeling empty. If you wake up and focus on what's possible, on what's already working, on what you can create, you'll feel alive and energized. The mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you aim at, it grows larger. If you aim it at problems, you'll drown in problems. If you aim it at possibilities, you'll discover opportunities you never noticed before. It's not that life magically gives you more. It's that your focus allows you to see more. And it's not enough to change your thoughts once or twice. Real transformation is built on rituals. The small daily decisions you make become the foundation of who you are. Starting the day with gratitude, moving your body with energy, speaking words that empower you instead of words that weaken you. These practices shape your identity over time. They rewire your mind to expect growth instead of fear, to see opportunities instead of limitations, to live with intention instead of habit. Success is not something that happens overnight. It's something you build brick by brick, thought by thought, action by action, until the structure of your life reflects the strength of your mindset. Your mind is the starting point of every result you've ever had and every result you will ever create. It's not the world outside of you that determines your life. It's the world inside of you. And the moment you decide to take control of it, you take control of everything else that follows. Your life is shaped not by the events you go through, but by the meaning you attach to those events. That's the truth most people never fully understand. They think their life is the way it is because of their past, their circumstances, their failures, or the people around them. But the reality is this: two people can face the exact same challenge, and one will collapse under it while the other will rise because of it. The difference isn't the challenge. The difference is mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you experience everything. Change the lens and you change your life. When you wake up in the morning and tell yourself you're tired, unmotivated, and stuck, your brain looks for proof to confirm that story. You'll notice the obstacles, the frustrations, the disappointments. But when you wake up and direct your mind toward gratitude, toward possibility, toward opportunity, your brain will look for evidence to match that too. You'll notice doors opening, people supporting you, and chances to grow. Nothing outside of you changed, only your mindset did. That's how powerful it is. The danger is that most people live inside limiting beliefs. They tell themselves they're not smart enough, not strong enough, not young enough, not experienced enough. They keep repeating these lies until they become their identity. As in, once something becomes your identity, you will defend it, you will live by it, you will protect it as if it's the truth. But it's not the truth, it's just a story you've rehearsed. And the moment you decide to tell yourself a new story, you unlock the power to create a new life. I want you to think about the emotions you live in most often, because your emotions are what drive your actions, and your actions are what create your results. If you live in fear, doubt, frustration, or anger, you will hesitate, procrastinate, and sabotage yourself. But if you learn how to shift into gratitude, courage, confidence, and determination, you'll take bold action. You'll step forward when others step back. You'll find energy when others are exhausted. Emotions create motion, and motion creates momentum. That's why if you want to change your life, you have to learn how to master your emotional state. And how do you do that? You use your body, you use your breath, you use your focus. When you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with energy, your nervous system wakes up. You shift into a state of power. When you slouch, breathe shallow, and move slowly, your body tells your brain you're weak, and you stay stuck. Motion changes emotion. You have that power right now, in this moment, if you're willing to use it. Then there's focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. Whatever you focus on grows in your life. Focus on your problems, and you'll create more problems. Focus on opportunities, and you'll discover possibilities you never saw before. Most people are drowning in stress not because their lives are harder, but because their focus is on what's missing, what's broken, what they can't control. If they shifted their focus to what's working, to what they already have, to what they can influence, they would feel completely different. That shift in focus is everything. But don't think this happens by accident. If you want to change your mindset, You have to create rituals that reinforce that every single success is not built on occasional inspiration. It's built on consistent repetition. You must condition your mind the way you condition your muscles. Feed it with gratitude, with empowering words, with bold actions. Move your body with energy. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Speak to yourself in a way that builds belief instead of tearing it down. Every day, you're either reinforcing the old identity that limits you or creating the new identity that empowers you. Your mind is the architect of your destiny. Every belief you hold, every emotion you live in, every focus you choose, every ritual you commit to is designing the life you are living right now. And the moment you take control of your mind, you take control of your future. Here's the 5th expanded version of Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life, written in a calm or reflective as conversational style, minimum 600 words without an ending sentence or bullet points. There are times in life when it feels as though the weight of the world is pressing against you, when nothing seems to go the way you hoped, and when every step forward feels like it comes with 2 steps back. In those moments, it's easy to believe the problem lies outside of you. It's easy to think that the job, the relationship, the timing, or even fate itself is against you. But what truly shapes the direction of your life is not what happens around your mindset, is the lens you use to view the world. Imagine looking through a window covered in dust. No matter how beautiful the scenery outside might be, all you see is something clouded, distorted, unclear. When your mind is filled with limiting beliefs, fears, and doubts, that's the kind of lens you're looking through. But the moment you clean the glass, the moment you shift your perspective, the same world looks brighter, clearer, as in full of possibility. The circumstances may not change immediately, but the way you experience them changes completely. Think about the stories you've told yourself over the years. Stories like, I'll never get it right, or good things don't happen for me, or I'm just not that kind of person. These stories feel real because you've repeated them so often, but they're not truth. They're simply habits of thought, and habits can be broken, replaced, and rebuilt. The first step to transformation is recognizing that the story you tell yourself is shaping your reality. If you change the story, you change the reality you live in. It's not just beliefs that create your life, it's also the emotions you live in daily. Think about how differently you act when you feel hopeful compared to when you feel defeated. In hope, you take steps forward, you risk more, you see opportunities. In defeat, you pull back, you hesitate, you close yourself off. Your emotional state acts like the current of a river, carrying you either toward growth or toward stagnation. And the remarkable thing is that you can influence that current. By shifting your focus, by moving your body, by changing your inner dialogue, you can step out of one emotional state into another. Focus plays a powerful role here. Whatever you focus on expands. When you focus on what's missing, you reinforce feelings of lack. When you focus on what you already have, you strengthen feelings of gratitude. Gratitude shifts your energy immediately. It allows you to see not just what is wrong, but what is right, not just what you've lost, but what you've gained. As when you begin to train your focus toward possibility instead of limitation, your life begins to feel different because your mind is searching for new evidence to support a better story. But change doesn't come from one thought or one decision. It comes from repetition. The rituals you live by every day are what solidify your mindset. If your daily ritual is waking up and thinking about everything that's wrong, as you're programming your brain to live in frustration. If your daily ritual is to start your morning with gratitude, movement, and affirmations that remind you of your strength, you're programming your brain to live in possibility. What you repeat, you reinforce, and what you reinforce becomes who you are. The process of changing your mindset is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about taking ownership of the one thing you can always control, your interpretation, your focus, your response. Life will bring challenges, setbacks, and uncertainty, but the way you meet those moments depends on the mindset you've built. A strong mindset doesn't remove obstacles, it changes the way you move through them. It doesn't erase pain, but it allows you to find meaning in the pain. It doesn't guarantee an easy path, but it gives you the resilience to keep walking it. Your mind is always creating, always shaping, always building the life you are stepping into. Every thought, every belief, every focus, every ritual is either pulling you closer to the life you want or pushing you further from it. The decision to change your life is really the decision to change your mind, because when the mind transforms, everything else follows.